Hello and welcome to this episode of the GrowVC Everyone Funding Startup
podcast.
I'm your host Marcus, and today I'm talking with Joshua Persky, founder and CEO of Twisplays. So Joshua, thanks for joining us on our podcast today.
Thank you, Marcus.
And would you give a little background on yourself and on your path to becoming an entrepreneur and founding Twisplays?
Sure. I'm Joshua Persky, founder and CEO of Twisplays. I'm an MIT graduate who has experience in satellite communications. I've worked on Wall Street. I've worked for a commercial bank, part of Fortis Bank, and I've worked as a business valuation professional for an investment bank. At the end of 2007, as the economy went into decline here, I was forced to reconsider my opportunities and became more entrepreneurial. At first, I started to work on creating a business valuation consultancy. Then I developed an iPhone application for business valuations. And then I came upon the idea of Twisplays.
All right. So Twisplays, that's like displays and Twitter combined, right?
That's correct. The word Twisplays comes from Twitter displays.
So could you go ahead and introduce the startup?
Sure. Twisplays are simple, one-line, inexpensive LED signs that display real-time Twitter streams. The thought came to me for a convergence of circumstances. I've had some experience in network communications. I've written a business plan for a group who wanted to start an in-bar advertising network. I was using the office of a friend who was involved in in-store advertising, and Twitter was all over the place. And it just seemed to me that Twitter was ideal, just like it's like telegrams, short messages, ideal for LED signs. And I didn't see that anyone was doing that, so I wondered if it could be done. And I was able to put together a prototype, and then found through my own network someone who could commercialize the product for me. So I started selling Twisplays.
And what kind of customers are you targeting with this? What's your typical audience like?
Well, my first thought was that people would want to follow celebrities and musicians because those are the most popular tweeters and with the most followers. But actually, I came quickly to learn from the market and from brainstorming with friends that events and conferences would be a good place to look. And I started selling networking at conferences and also selling over the internet to people going to conferences and trade shows. My idea is that also Twisplays would be great for restaurants, bars, and cafes to engage and entertain and inform their customers of last-minute deals and events, and let people be interactive. My ideal customer, though, is corporate retail. I'd love to. I have two products really. One, Twisplays is a kind of plug-and-play model. You plug it into a Windows PC and display any Twitter streams you want. It taps into your Twitter account or a Twitter account set up for the sign. But my other product is putting Twisplays on a wireless network, and that makes sense for 10 sites or more. And if I could get a place like Starbucks or McDonald's or any large retail, Old Navy, 1-800-Flowers, any business with a lot of outlets to take an interest in Twisplays, that would be my ideal customer.
And in terms of those larger retailers, I guess this kind of solves the headache of setting up individual displays that kind of do the same thing. So your proposition to them is, well, it's bound to be appealing since it simplifies their life.
Well, yeah, the wireless Twisplays actually just broadcasting the same Twitter stream to multiple locations, and it's very simple to set up. You don't need a PC even on site. I just have to plug it in. It has a wireless receiver. and the company, the retail chain, could broadcast and make people aware of their Twitter stream. First of all, it's a brand extension. It makes all the shoppers and customers and fans and patrons aware that there is a Twitter stream, so they can take it home with them on their cell phone or laptop, or become aware that there are last-minute deals and discounts to be seen on Twitter. And then it could also be used for real-time customer endorsements, or for other product and company information, or entertainment, even breaking news. In a food store, they might want to put in tweets from Foodimentary, or in a financial concern, I'd love to put them in ATM outlets for banks. They could put in stock twits or something.
I guess in a way, the applications are so many, because even if you look at Twitter, there's only so much information you can put into a tweet, but people have come up with some crazy ways of using those. So I think the same applies to just broadcasting those to whatever medium, because basically you're offering a tool with which you can do pretty much everything at least that you can do in a tweet.
That's correct, and there's so many different uses for messaging and for Twitter. Interestingly, I was contacted by a fellow from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and he said people there tweet about the traffic and about police checkpoints. So he's buying one for a restaurant so that he can display what's happening in the local traffic. And he thinks that's going to be a popular application in Rio. I was contacted by a fellow from Ireland who's developing a startup for politicians and political parties, and he thinks Twisplays will be good to help promote their points of view, and that it would work well with his startup platform. Their law enforcement agencies might be interested in aggregating certain Twitter streams, and every kind of retail store certainly could promote their own brand, and then cafes and bars and restaurants could just use it to engage their customers in the best way they think they see fit.
Let's step back a little while. You're a graduate from MIT. How has that played into founding your own startup? Because MIT is, of course, a big university. But in terms of that, how has that helped you along your way?
I guess it helps open doors here and there. People are impressed. It kind of gives me some credentials. I came out of MIT. My first job was on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, and I just always ended up working for other people. One of the great things at MIT is to be creative and think for ourselves and invent new things, be entrepreneurial. And I really had, for some reason, always thought I would be an entrepreneur, but I was kept it in the closet for many years, and finally it's burst out. And I've, at least, I guess you have to have the right idea at the right time, or think you do, some idea that compels you to go with it and start a company and create a new product and try to sell it and raise money and all that entrepreneurial activities entail.
When you took the plunge into entrepreneurship and eventually founding Twisplays, was it a natural progression?
I mean, for me, it was pretty traumatic in terms of that I, over the years, always gotten better and better jobs with more and more responsibility. And when the recession hit in 2008, I was caught a bit off guard and, had the rug pulled out from under me. So I was kind of, in a way, forced to reinvent myself and find a new way to move forward, as the banks that I had previously worked for or hoped to work for were disappearing right and left.
And in terms of your journey with Twisplays, what have been the biggest learning points from your experience?
It's just constant learning. Everything from the the bureaucracies of setting up a company